Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. Today, I have a very special guest, Alexandra Sempek, also known as Coach Ali, internationally certified health coach, empowering women who struggle with food guilt, negative body image, and helps them reclaim their true confidence. With her private coaching program, Alpha Alignment, Coach Ali changes the narrative with her wellness over obsession approach to health and fitness. Oh, I love it. So my goal for you is to help you build authentic confidence. I do not believe you can fake it, because the only people that are fooled by you faking it are those that are either at your level or below. You cannot fake it to meet people and be around people that you really admire and respect. You got to get to their level to relate to their level. And if you want to be with a very strong, confident man, you can't fake your confidence because it's so obvious to the people that already have it. And so there are ways to get authentic confidence. And I want to give you access to as many people as I can so that you can see how to build that organically. And people like Ali are, I just loved her content. And I actually, I've been going to HotWorks, and I learned Ali was going to be one of our newest virtual instructors. And she happens to live here in Omaha. We both relocated here when COVID hit, came back to our home states. Here I end up at HotWorks. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to reach out to her. I know she's crazy busy. She's filming these new videos, but I'm just going to see if she would pop on the Gumball Love podcast. And she agreed immediately. We just, I just saw her online, and I will admit, I watched her for a while, because I don't bring people onto this podcast unless I kind of stalk them and vet them out a little bit. And I wanted to make sure that, she was legit, and it was just so heartwarming. Like even better meeting her on Zoom and just being able to look into her eyes and have a genuine conversation. I could have talked to her forever. She's exactly the kind of energy. I just want you to kind of absorb her energy. And because I know that when I watch her on Instagram or look at her reel, I just feel like, yeah, man, I'm going to go ahead and I think I can wear a workout outfit that shows my midsection. What? I mean, I don't have a 6-pack of abs, but she really just makes you realize, like, why do you feel like you need to have that just to wear that outfit? You still look good. And I never imagined that somebody on an Instagram account could make me feel like that, but it's helped me really just let go of so much of that stress around body image. And I want that for you so much. When we talk about the journey of fitness and weight loss and how true confidence is built, and her journey of never being a virtual instructor, never being a fitness instructor, to doing it for a global brand, all at the age of 27 years old. So I can't wait for you to meet Ali. Please find her in the show notes and follow her on Instagram. So I will not delay anymore. Here is the beautiful Ali Sempek. So tell me how this all began. So I find you on Instagram. You're going to be the next HotWorks celebrity fitness instructor. And I see this like gorgeous girl who, by the way, you have like what is your spray tan secret? I need to know that. You have the most beautiful
my skin color.
It is not. Oh my
Yeah, it is.
God. You have the most beautiful
Thank
glowing
you.
skin ever. And I'm looking at you without an Instagram filter, which is a little bit depressing because you're like just as beautiful, if not more. Like, oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
So, yes, you are absolutely stunningly gorgeous.
Thank
So,
you.
okay. Well, I guess I'm not going to walk away with any kind of spray tan secret then. You just have the most gorgeous skin
I'm
ever.
I'm just Italian. I mean a mix of things, but that's where it comes from. I'm super dark in the summer. Winter, I will become more Caucasian, but I'm still always dark.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so you had told me you were not a fitness instructor
Mhm.
and now you're going to be on screens internationally all over the world for the brand Hotworks. So maybe give everybody like what is Hotworks? How did you get involved in it first? Because I know it's relatively new for me. And then go on your road on the way to be an instructor because I know you have an Instagram page around fitness and embracing your body. So, how did this all? What was the beginning of all this for you?
Oh Lord, how much time do we have? I could I
As
could
much
talk
as you
about this
want.
for hours. So to give you kind of the backstory on Hotworks first. So Hotworks is a 24-hour infrared studio. So you go into different sauna sessions to do hot yoga, hot Pilates, hot cycle. And they're either 15 minutes or 30-minute long sessions. So more workout, less time, which is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. And it's super exciting because it's a very different idea when it comes to working out. I had no idea it even existed. It's still very new in a lot of different states. And when I moved back to Omaha during the pandemic, I started going to an entrepreneur coffee meetup group in the mornings
Mm.
that was primarily women. And one of the gals had two of the franchises. So she owned two locations of Hotworks. And we kind of hit it off right away. And she's like, well, why don't you come in, try it out? Because I love to lift. Like heavy
Mm-hmm.
lifting is my thing. It's what makes me feel powerful. Like it is my version of working out. And I think everyone needs to find that. And I'm like, I don't really know because that doesn't sound like my kind of thing. She's like, no, it's great for recovery. It's great for someone that does lift because you can come in, sweat out all the toxins, make your body a little bit more flexible. It helps a lot on the days that I'm not lifting. So
Mm-hmm.
we were in a session together and we were watching the virtual instructor on the screen. And because of my full-time job being a health and empowerment coach, she's like, you would be so great up there, like encouraging women. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, that'd be great. However, I don't group instruct fitness. Like my full-time job, I joke that I'm more of like a hype woman slash therapist. I work with women more so on food guilt, body image, how to really understand their bodies so that they can be their healthiest and most confident. But I don't teach any workouts. And so I kind of laughed at her and was like,
Mm-hmm.
nah, does not sound like my kind of thing. I'm good. And she just kept pushing me. And she's like, I know it's out of your comfort zone, but you tell your clients all the time. That's how you challenge yourself is to get out of your
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so it kept nagging at me kind of in the back of my head. And so the very last day that it was open for applications, I applied. My video is literally me in my basement working out. Like
What
it,
did you have to do to try out? It was like send it.
yeah,
What was the qualifications on the video? Like
yes.
what did they say you have to do these three things or whatever?
So you had to fill out like an actual like application, like you were doing an interview explaining, who are you, what's your background, are you certified in anything, what why you want to be a part of the Hotworks brand, and then submit. I believe it was like a 2-minute video of you instructing.
Mm.
Well, that was the kicker is I don't instruct. So I was like, all right, Allie, let's see if you know how to do this. And my mom has been a group fitness instructor my entire life. She owned a gym for most of my life. My dad's a
Mm.
chiropractor. So I kind of grew up in this health and fitness world as it
Yeah.
was. So I was like, all right, you're gonna have to bring a little bit of my mother out of me.
Yeah, channel mom is what I was gonna say.
Literally. And I went into my basement, set up my iPhone, did like a little isometric workout, and then went to my gym and filmed myself cycling. And I was
Mm.
like, all right, this is as good as it's gonna get. We'll see if they like it. And the biggest piece that really corporate connected with was that I really believe in changing the narrative around fitness and health. Most of us women that are going into a Hot Works or going into a gym, we're not super tiny. We're not built like a Barbie or have 8-pack abs, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yes.
and I never will. And that's okay with me. But
Mm-hmm.
I still want to go into a place and feel welcomed and feel comfortable, and see someone on a screen that looks like me.
Yes.
And that was my biggest mission with this was, you can teach me whatever you need to teach me in order to do this job, but you can't teach someone to be comfortable in their own skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work that they have to do over the time of their life. So
So I want to come back to the hot work story, but I want to know, how did you come up with that concept? I mean, you were already teaching, empowering women to embrace their bodies, which I know I've had my own weight loss journey, which a lot of my followers knew. I lost 40 pounds, gained a little bit back on, but in losing 40 pounds, I will say that I had a nutrition coach who's also been on the podcast. And she said we had both had a weight loss journey. We realized that even when we had lost the weight, it wasn't the skinnier body that gave us the confidence. It was the decisions that we had made along the way that built it over time. Because we realized if you could just poof and be thinner, you think, oh, I'd be happier. But that confidence came from a different place. So I'm just curious of what was your journey around that? Because I think everybody listening will relate, because we all feel this pressure by what we see in magazines and the damn Kardashians, who, I don't know though, they kind of helped us out a little bit with their booties.
I think they did, but it's also, that's the whole other curve right now
Yeah.
of, okay, well, I'm going to pay for surgery to look the way that I want to look.
Yes.
And that's not great for body image either, because you can't keep that up. I've had countless clients come to me after having procedures and saying, well, because my weight has fluctuated so much and because my mental health has fluctuated so much, the surgery literally made me worse off. And I don't ever
Yeah.
want somebody to feel like they have to go and pay for what their body already gives them, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were all made completely unique on this earth. There's not another single person that looks or acts or feels the way that we do. So why
Mm-hmm.
don't we embrace that? So
Yes.
to give you kind of that backstory, a lot of it, like most women, it starts out when I was really young. I think for every woman, our story usually starts out in elementary school, middle school,
Mm-hmm.
where your body's starting to change, you're starting to become a woman, and no one told you really what to expect, right? They don't tell
Mm-hmm.
you that society only looks at small women as beautiful. They don't tell you, hey, you should keep eating because food is actually good for a growing body rather
Mm-hmm.
than starving yourself. So I remember in middle school, I put myself on my first diet. I started restricting foods. I started counting calories. And granted, I did have parents that were in like the health and fitness realm, and they always talked more about just being healthy. But I put it on myself because all of my girlfriends were really small and could seemingly eat whatever they wanted. And all the boys liked them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself that I was broken. Something was wrong with me because I couldn't get myself to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, that pushed into high school and pushed into college, where for the most part, everyone will tell you now, oh, she seemed like the most confident girl. She was so outgoing. And I hid behind that. I hid behind the fact that I got along with everyone. But underneath, I
Mm-hmm.
felt alone and exhausted and completely, misunderstood, because no matter how little I ate, my body seemed to just gain more weight. And then all of my worth was tied to what I looked like and how much I weighed. And so I struggled a lot with disordered eating and with body dysmorphia all through middle school, high school, college. And until I kind of made the decision for myself that I had to get out of that, because did I really want to track food for the rest of my life and never see
Mm-hmm.
results? Did
Mm-hmm.
I really want to be that miserable? Because there had to be something better.
Yeah.
Um, And it really took until I was in probably the most anxious, depressed state that I have ever felt, and reaching out to my family saying, I need some help to come back to reality here. That really kind of pushed me to figure out, okay, what does work for me? What does make me happy? And really that process kept happening until the year before COVID happened. I was
Really?
Yeah, I worked a lot on myself over the last 5 years. Really found like intuitive eating, found, mental health mindset work that really worked for me, because I just couldn't find like a coach or a therapist that fit what I was looking for. I really needed someone that believed dieting was not the answer, that losing weight wasn't even the answer. I had to find somebody that understood what I had been through, and that didn't exist. So I decided to do that for myself. And then the
Wow.
crazy part is, COVID happened. I was living in Texas, and
Okay.
my job cut my hours completely. I was an event manager down there, and
Hmm.
events were obviously not happening. So I
Yeah.
moved back to Nebraska. My dad was diagnosed with cancer for the second time, so I decided to stay. And
Hmm.
he's doing great now, but
Okay, good.
I wanted to be here while he was going through treatment.
Hmm.
Um, my family is extremely important to me, and they've always been so supportive. So I needed to be here. And it kind of got this thought going of, okay, if not now, then when? So quit my
Yeah.
job, moved all of my stuff back, moved in with my parents, and started my company without a single client.
Wow.
And
Amazing. So you are new at this. Like that is incredible.
yeah, a year and
What?
a half
And
later, I am
yeah.
fully self-employed and absolutely love it.
Wow. That is impressive.
Thank you.
And it's such a natural, it just exudes from you. Like if I didn't know that, I would have thought, oh, you've been doing this for 5 years or more, because it's truly your calling. I mean, you're just so inspiring. You have this, oh, it's such like like I wanted you on this podcast because when I put people on my podcast, it's people that I want my girls to have in their feed. I want you in their feed. I want them to see your energy, and love of body it's hard to get there. It
Yeah.
really is. And let's face it, it's not really a destination. We have to maintain it, right? We have to constantly be mindful of it. So
Well, and I tell clients all the time, there's kind of this graph, right? And on one side, there's, the fitness influencers and the women you follow online that have probably had surgery or probably have an eating disorder, but they mask it by, they look perfect. And then you've got
mhm,
the other side. And as much as I love body positivity, it can also be a little toxic at times
mhm,
because it doesn't lean as heavily into taking care of yourself.
mhm.
So I kind of wanted to figure out that gray space in between of loving who you are and loving the body that you're in, while also still wanting to achieve goals and still wanting
Yeah.
to take care of yourself. There should be able to have both. And we're
Mhm.
so often told you can have either one or the other, rather than
Yeah.
saying, well, I want this and this, right?
Mhm.
So I try to find kind of that happy medium.
What would you say to girls right now? Like somebody that I know a lot of my girls are in this, and I've been there too, where they haven't worked out in a long time, or a lot of people have gotten out of the habit because of COVID. They're stuck at home and they've put on the COVID 20 that everyone's talking about, or whatever, the COVID 40. I heard that was the average weight gain for millennials was 40 pounds during COVID. That's a life changing, unhealthy, So what would you say to people that are in that? They're like, oh my God, like the idea of working out is painful. And then on top of that, if they're going to try it in a sauna, I know for some people, hot works just sounds like an insane thing to do. And I tell people how incredible you feel. We're totally addicted to it. I mean, we go every day, unless the only time I didn't go was when I was sick, but even like 7 days a week, we're there. It's amazing. But what do you say to people that are just in that slump? Like, I have zero motivation. Looks great, Allie. Good job. But I'm here on my couch with my wine and I'm Netflixing the next show. Like, where do you what would you say to that person that's like, they want to, but they don't have that motivation?
So first off, I'm a big fan of real talk. And I'd say at the end of the day, you have to get over your own bullshit.
Mm.
If you're not in a place where you want to make a change, you're not going to. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
can give you the motivation or give you the right words to magically wake you up and have you create a new habit tomorrow. You have
Yeah.
to be in the headspace of wanting it for yourself and not for anyone else, not for a husband or a boyfriend, but that you want to feel better about yourself. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
something that I had to live by. It's almost flipping the mindset from, oh, I need to lose the weight or I need to eat better, I need to eat clean. Those are all very restrictive sentences. So
Mm-hmm.
even looking at what you're saying, maybe it's just, I want to feel better in my body. I want to feel healthier. And then from there, it's figuring out what you like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a big reason I kind of joke that I'm not a group fitness instructor, at least not a typical coach, because I'm never going to tell someone you have to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Because something that works for me might not work for you.
Right.
Every person is so unique in that way. So even when it comes to hot work, something I loved about it was that there are so many different classes or so many different sessions, excuse me, that people can kind of find what fits them best.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that is trying out yoga for the first time, or maybe someone loves cycling, or like I love the FX zone because I like to lift things. I like to kind of
Mm-hmm.
incorporate the heat and then go back out there and lift something. So it's figuring out like, what do you like to do?
Mm-hmm.
What do you enjoy doing? Try it out. If you don't like it, cool. You don't have to do that again. You can try something different. Um,
Yeah.
we're very, very privileged, especially in the United States, to have the option to do so many different things. And you also are privileged to have a body that works.
Mm-hmm.
So let it experience those things. And if it doesn't like it, don't force yourself to like it. Find
Mm-hmm.
something else that you like.
Yeah.
But also on that spectrum, your body was made to move.
Mm-hmm.
So the longer we sit at home or lay around or we don't do something with it, the more tired you're going to be because
Mm-hmm.
your body is conserving energy. It thinks that it's supposed to. Same way as if you start to work out, you start to do more, you naturally feel more energy. You naturally feel hungrier because your body's starting to rev up. It's starting to realize like, oh, we're going to do stuff today. And so you're
Mm-hmm.
going to crave more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
Yes.
just giving yourself more of what you want instead of giving yourself more of what you don't want.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good answer. I like it. So I was in watching you just in the time I've been following you. Um, I would what I discovered, and I just want to get your opinion. And I also want my girls to hear because they'll follow you and they'll be like, oh, she's so beautiful. She's so put together and she's so fun and she's so confident. And how do you get that confidence? But I started following you and you are all those things, but I also see you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone because all of a sudden you went from, I'm not a fitness coach to now and I want you to share what you had to do in New Orleans
Yeah.
because that was probably pretty scary. You had to go and hang out with all the other girls on the screen and the instructors, and all of a sudden you're in this new environment. And I when I'm coaching my girls, I tell them confidence. Like people are like, oh, I want to build confidence, and I want to work out because we think, oh, I'm gonna be more confident if I'm more fit.
Mm-hmm.
But I tell them fitness is not a hobby. It's self-care, right? So you've got to do other things that push you out of your comfort zone. So how do you feel like your confidence changed just in the time that you were in New Orleans? Like, was that life-changing for you and just that experience?
It was a very stressful week. I will be completely honest. I think, I mean, like you hit it nail on the head. When it comes to confidence, we always think, well, if I'm smaller, I'm going to feel more confident because
Mm-hmm.
we attach confidence and beauty when in
Mm-hmm.
reality, they're not linked at all. Confidence is how you're showing up and if you're showing up authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way to create confidence is to do things or say things or think things that you've never done before. And then when you start to succeed at those, or you start to learn about yourself more in those, that's when you start feeling more confident
Mm-hmm.
because you understand yourself better. So in New Orleans, I was there for a full 8 days. I had never instructed any kind of class session workout outside of going to the convention where I was trying out to be a virtual
Mm-hmm.
instructor. That was actually the first time I had ever instructed live in front of people. And now,
And how many people were there? That was a lot of people, right?
yeah, convention, I want to say our outdoor workout was maybe in front of 300 people,
Wow.
something around there. We were all outside. And even then, I wasn't instructing the whole workout, it was only a few pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little taste of it, but my anxiety was through the roof. I love speaking to people one on one. I love
Mm-hmm.
coaching. I love even speaking on stage to a large group. Great. Um, Working out in front of people and then teaching them how to do it and looking poised and put together, that is a whole different ball game. I
Mm-hmm.
am notorious for being that girl that has my headphones in, music is on full blast, and I'm lifting by myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very different. So New Orleans, the first 2 days were my comfort zone. It was modeling, it was a lot of photography, it was a lot of video work. I love interviews. Like, let me talk about what I do and talk about my women
Mm-hmm.
24/7.
Yep.
But then Monday through Friday, it was recording the actual hot sessions. And I'm talking 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are working out in front of an entire film crew, in front of, corporate, in front of the other virtual instructors. And these other women, and we had one man on our team, they are all extremely successful in their
Mm-hmm.
fitness careers. They all have, hours and hours of certifications and curriculum, and they are so knowledgeable. And I had to come from a place of saying, okay, I'm going to learn from these people. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to not see this as intimidating or as, I guess, competition in any way. It was,
Mm-hmm.
how can I step up to the plate and learn from the people around me and
Mm.
kind of fake it till you make it, right?
But that's
Because,
a great a way to change how you were framing it so you didn't freak out. But
yes,
you had to figure out how to do that. I remember doing this for a ballroom dancing competition. Like in the Uber, I was losing it and I had to like figure out a way to, how am I not going to be a weirdo when I get there?
yeah.
Like what, how, but, and so so you took that position of humility, like, okay, I'm going to learn. I'm not going to show up feeling like I should know everything because I don't. So I'm going to learn. And that put you in such a powerful mindset. But just the exercise of figure, like you had to know, okay, what do I do? Okay, I'm just going to learn. I'm going to be humble, and that gave you the proper energy. And I just want to pause there because that's the stuff that people are like, how do I get confidence? And it's like, well, you're in situations like that where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm, out of my league here. So what do I do? How do I get through this? And then you figured out, okay, that's my path to then assimilate into this group of, fitness experts.
Yeah.
And so how did that work? Like what happened after when you got
Well,
there, or how did you
and,
feel?
and on kind of that same note, I think the biggest thing that you can do to feel more confident in any situation that you're in is ask for help.
Mm,
Because we so often see asking for help or, doing life with other people as weakness. I
mm-hmm,
shouldn't have to ask for help in a business standpoint, right? I'm there as a fitness professional. I should know what I'm doing. But it doesn't hurt to have someone explain how something maybe works so that I feel more confident going
mm-hmm,
into it. And I think that was a big thing I had to learn as well is like you were saying, the humility of it, of I don't know what I don't know.
mm-hmm.
So it never hurts to ask for help or show a little vulnerability because
Yeah.
that's when the other conversations start to happen, right? The other people start saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked because I had no idea either. Or,
Yes.
wow, I felt the same exact way. And I see that a lot in my coaching of women that feel like they're off on this island because they feel this way about themselves. when in reality, we're all feeling this way at some point or another, and just no one
Hmm.
talks about it. So
Yes.
I do think like asking for help in any standpoint is always a strength. It's never a weakness. But then the rest of the week, I chose to be the modification for every filming that I did, mostly because yes, I could work my ass off to be the lead instructor in all these videos, but I know that these other fitness professionals, they've got it down. This is what they do. This is their bread and butter, and I wanted
Hmm.
them to be in that spotlight. And then I wanted to
Hmm.
show my followers, my women, that modification does not mean you're failing and it does not mean you're
Hmm.
weak. I have to do a lot of the modifications in these hot work sessions.
Oh, yeah.
It's not easy,
No,
right?
it is not.
And I wanted them to be able to look at there and say, okay, so she's strong. She is a fitness professional. She knows what she's doing. And the modification is actually what she chooses to do. And then I led a hot cycle session for my very first time. And I'd say that in itself was probably the most rewarding part of the week because it was so out of my comfort zone. But it was something that I always kind of secretly thought I could do.
Hmm.
And when I got done, I was cracking up because I pride myself on not being a woo girl.
Yeah.
I'm very chill, I'm very laid back. And I must have wooed about 3 times while filming this video. And I was like, my mother is coming out of my soul right now. What is happening? But it, it's this feeling of like, holy crap, I just did that. And I would have
Hmm.
never had the opportunity to even know I could do that had I not tried.
Yes.
That's the biggest
And
difference for people is if there's a place that you want to be or someone that's doing something that you want to be doing, the only
hmm
difference between you and them is that they tried.
yes. Yes. So, how did you feel from the beginning to the end of that experience? Did you feel like a different person? The person that arrived versus the person that left? Did you feel transformed?
Yes, in probably more ways than one. I think more than anything, it was a learning experience,
Hmm.
understanding kind of my own boundaries, not only with my body and how much I can push myself to do and my recovery and what that looks like, but also from a business standpoint, what I, expect or how I maybe communicate. I learned a ton
Hmm.
on that. But really when it comes down to like challenging myself to be in a new situation that I had no expectation for, um, I always say it's feedback, it's never failure. Even if
Hmm.
something did not go the way that I had planned, it's always feedback for next time.
Yeah.
And so I think, experiences like that, they can be exhilarating and exciting and transformative. And they can also be terrifying and challenging. But that's the
Hmm.
whole point. They have to have both for you to learn
Yes.
from and to grow from.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So I want people to note that when they're looking at you, like you continue to push yourself. So, and then you have the other scary thing is when those videos go live.
Oh,
And then it's like, oh my God, it's real. So when does that happen? When does it officially go on the screen?
I'm not honestly 100% sure. I think next spring or
Okay.
or summer, because the way that they do all of the filming is for the coming year. As the new VIs come in, they want to obviously have some of our videos going, but they want to have enough of us for a lengthy amount of time. So they just switched over new sessions right now, and
Hmm.
then new ones will be coming out. So that's a really another great part of how it works is that there's always new sessions. You're never
Yeah.
doing the same thing over and over again. The whole idea behind their mission, this whole like 3D training mission of theirs is, you have the infrared energy. So that's what's, literally your bloodstream is soaking up this energy, allowing you to recover better, allowing you to speed up your metabolism. So many different health benefits. But you've got
Hmm.
the heat, hence why you're sweating so
Yes.
so much, which always feels good and is always good for your body too. But then you have the workout part. And when it comes to working out, you have to be consistent and accountable. You always have to be switching things up.
Hmm.
So I think that's the part that I probably like the most is that if I get annoyed by a session, I know there's always a new one coming.
Yeah, I love that too. I can look at the schedule and see what's new or like what am I in the mood to do? Like, and if I want to really push myself. And every time I think, okay, maybe I'll just take it easy, but somehow I just am like, oh, I'm just going to go for it. Like, I always go in like, maybe I'll just relax or maybe I'll just sit and sweat. But like it's like sometimes it's like getting there is just half the battle. And
Yeah.
I love that you have to schedule a time because it puts it on your calendar. So some of these struggles that I've had, like getting fitness on your calendar, my boyfriend Ian is so good at it. He loves it. So he's like, hey, when are we doing hot works? I'm like, oh, you're such a hot works, high pressure person. He's like, come on, let's just get out our calendars. But we get out our calendars, we choose a time, and then it's set in the schedule. So that's just from a mindset perspective, you have it down and you have to be there at a certain time. And yeah, just having that choice. I could not sweat a lot before, and clearly that problem's been resolved. But when I first started, my body would not sweat. Like even when I would work out my whole life, this has finally like helped me get to that point. And now I walk in, it's like 5 minutes and it's like dripping, which
Boring.
is so
And
cleansing. Yes.
it's so good for, honestly, I do it in between my heavy lift days for my body to relax and to be able
Mm-hmm.
to stretch out the muscles that I haven't used. And even like the foam rolling, it's so good for, I'm going to get technical here, but myofascial release, like it's so good for your muscle to go through that. But then the sweat, I go in there like no makeup, probably 5-day hair, and I'm like, bring it on. Like, let me just everything get out of my pores. Um,
Yeah.
so like you said, it's total self-care. That's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing when it comes to health and fitness and why I always talk about changing the narrative. I truly believe that fitness and health, they do not care what you look like.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter where you come from. It does not matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your upbringing was, what color you are. Like, does not matter. It just cares that you show up
Yeah.
and it cares that you're taking care of yourself.
So what would you say was the shift for you where you went from that bad place to, I know you said it evolved over time, but are there any points where you can say, okay, I reached out for help because you were in this cycle of trying to be fit, trying to be skinny, trying to eat less? And was there a moment, a breakthrough, or anything that stands out in your mind where you feel like you got to a place of peace around this to the point you could teach it? So what would you say, or are there any points that stand out for you?
Yeah, actually, a quote that my dad said. So at this period of time, I was a couple years out of college. I hated my job. I was living in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is a little bit smaller than I
Right?
would have preferred. You know, most of my friends were in relationships. I had just broken up with a boyfriend. I had been in kind of toxic relationships up until that point. I was just very, very unhappy. And it felt like everything that I did was either not working or was hurting me more.
Mm,
And I was kind of at this point of like, what do I do? Like, there's so much information out there and it's all conflicting. And I feel very alone. And I'm in this place I don't want to live. I hate my job. I don't know where to go from here. And my dad said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And
mm,
it had never clicked or came to mind that even though I was trying all these different diets, I was tracking my macros, I was, eating higher carb, then I was eating lower carb, then I was working out twice a day, and then I was doing more cardio. I always thought I was doing something different, but I wasn't. It
okay.
all was doing the same thing over and over, and I was still expecting a different result each time. But
Mm-hmm.
in reality, my same result was being unhappy and being miserable and only caring about what size I was because I thought that that would change everything
Mm-hmm.
rather than focusing on what are all the other parts of my life that are maybe not nourished at all that I need to focus more on in order to bring more happiness to my life.
Mm,
A big part
okay.
for me was I've grown up being a big I was always at church. I was always singing at church. Um, Mine was connecting back with my spirituality, figuring out what that
Mm,
looked like for me.
right.
It was finding things that I loved to do outside of having friends or having a boyfriend or having the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I needed a personality again, right? So finding
Yes.
like where my creativity went, what I actually like to spend my time doing. Um,
Yeah.
it was moving.
Well, yeah, you're talking to a crowd of women that lost their identities in a lot of men. I mean, that was me. I don't even know that I really ever developed my true identity until I had my breakthrough. It was like I had an identity, but I created an academy called Back to You, like getting back to you. And the only reason I don't love that name because it implies that there was a you before. So it's like, but it really means getting back to yourself and figuring out who you are and what you love. So I love your story. This is so important because when you find the love of your life, when you have all of those things figured out, you can have so much more fun in your relationship because you know what you love, you know what you hate, you aren't afraid to express who you are because you need that person to fully accept
Yes.
you for the real you. But you got to know who that is,
Yes.
you
And
know?
you're not placing past experiences on someone that
Mhm.
has nothing to do with those experiences.
Yes. Yes, that's what I was talking about the other day when girls come to the relationship and they're like, "Well, if he, I'm going to tell the whatever next guy, and like I'm going to tell him, like, you're going to meet your equal, so he's not going to need a lecture. He's just going to show up and enjoy you, and you're going to have great conversations, and you're going to have fun, and getting to that place of having fun before the guy, I think is really where the relationship is. And
Yeah.
when I saw you, I was like, this girl is going to have love in her life soon because you're evolving to that point where you're going to attract your equal
Yeah.
and then you'll grow together. It's like, I just got chills for you, but I just feel I can just, I don't know. I've just watched enough people. I coach a lot of girls and I watch them on their Instagram and I'll see them on their stories and I'll see them just sharing parts of their life. And then all of a sudden there's like, I've been able to predict this with all my cousins, by the way, too. Like I would see like, she's going to meet somebody. I can feel it because there's just this light that when we find all the things that light us up, it really starts to show on our faces and our hearts. And then all of a sudden there's the guy that's attracted to your light, which
Yes.
we thought we had to dim. We thought we had to be less of ourselves. Let me
Mm-hmm.
tell you, I have a guy that I cannot overpower. I cannot dominate him. He knows like how to, should have seen him this weekend. I had to do a very important business decision. He was just like, you need to do it and you need to do it today. And I'm like, you're not the boss of me. But he
You're like,
knows
you
how
kind of
to,
are.
yeah, and I'm a pretty strong woman, but like there are strong men that will be supportive yet push you. And then today I was like, oh my God, he was so right. And he really was kind of making me uncomfortable. But
Mm-hmm.
I always felt like, oh, I'm too much and I'm too opinionated. And who's going to date a girl that does a relationship podcast? Like all these ideas we have in our heads and we think we're not enough. And it's kind of true. We're not enough of ourselves. We need to be more, you need to be more you, not less you. Like we should
I tell my
turn the
clients all
table
the
on that.
time when it comes down to it, if you've always felt like you're too much or you're too loud or you're too expressive, because I was told that all the time growing up, that I was
Mm.
just too much. And it was never said as a good thing. And so I tried to make myself more quiet. I was told at one point, I remember in my corporate job, that I needed to be more like one of the other girls in the office and just be a fly on the wall and
Oh,
not speak, just be seen. And that really rubbed me the wrong way because
mm,
I'm not on this earth to just sit still and be quiet and look pretty. That's not what my job is here. And so that's why like my group coaching that I do is called Alpha Alignment because I want
oh,
women to find that fire again, step into being an alpha female and not see it as a bad thing. Because
yeah.
I use that term specifically because I see, when we hear the word alpha, we think alpha male and we think very dominant, very aggressive, kind of a jerk, right? Like it's
Right.
not a nice word. And I wanted to take it and flip it for women because to me, being an alpha female means that you're a leader. It means that you pick women up and take them with you. You help them, rise to the next level rather than pushing them down, rather than speaking over them. And women don't see that enough. We're always pressured to be at competition with each other rather than supporting each other and knowing that there is enough on this earth for all of us to succeed.
Yes.
And that's what I want as alpha women.
Yes.
So in terms of relationships, I loved what you said. Like you attract the energy that you put out into the world. And a couple of my clients came to me, for intuitive eating, for body confidence, and they're starting to recognize that a lot of the other things that they struggle with all come back to how they feel about themselves. They maybe aren't in a relationship or have never been in one. And they're like, why do I not have a boyfriend? Why does no one like me? Maybe it's because I'm not small enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this or that enough. Right. And that has nothing to do with it. It's that they think they're not good enough. So if you don't think you're good enough, you don't see what you have to offer. That's all you're going to put out into the world. And that's not going to attract the right partner.
No.
Versus, like you're saying, once you're healthy and happy and confident in who you are and what you offer, you're going to get the same in return.
Yes. And you're also able to see it more clearly. I think when we're unhealthy, our defenses are up. We're not calm. We're not at ease. And so it's almost like when we're starving and we eat junk food because it's like, oh, I'll just eat that because it's quick. Yep. Instead of when you're more stable and you're like, I'm going to choose a protein. I'm going to choose something that's better for me. Like when you have a healthier mindset, you make healthier decisions. And yeah, that was something that I really noticed about myself is that when I became more confident in myself, took a complete break from dating, and I did feel like myself just calm down. And then I started realizing what I did want. And then it was like, yeah, I started thinking of the dumb things. Like, I don't want to carry the groceries anymore. I don't want to walk the dogs by myself anymore. Now I don't walk my dogs at all. I walk some like 2-3 times a day. It's like completely taking over the dog walking, which now makes my dog Lucy favor him, which I'm a little sad about. He went to work today and she sat and waited for him like, hey, you're supposed to be my dog. But yeah, like those things are just being confident in yourself, being calm, and calming all of that down. I think people underestimate that journey so much. So,
and like you were saying, it's the deprivation mentality, right? The more you think you're not going to have something, or you can never have something, or it's not feasible, the more your brain obsesses over it. And so, I tell my women with food, and I think this kind of works with relationships too. It's kind of that concept of, okay, if a guy is giving you all this attention and he's super needy and he's talking to you 24/7, you're kind of like, I don't want that. I don't want you. No. Like, go away. Right.
Yeah.
But if you can't have it and they don't talk to you and they're giving you zero attention and you're just getting little breadcrumbs here and there, you become obsessed and you're constantly looking at your phone. It's the same thing with food. If you can't have it or you're getting like a little taste here or there, that's all you're going to think about.
Yeah.
So it's the same cycle as binge eating as it is with relationships.
Yes.
You have to find the even balance both ways. Otherwise, you're always going to be on that roller coaster.
Yes. I wanted to tell you before I forget your alpha coaching. One of a breakthrough I had in relationships was the alpha wolf only chooses an alpha, and the alpha male only chooses the alpha female. And I was like, wow, even a wolf does not choose a weak female. He chooses a strong female, and they both co-parent and they both are leaders and they both are hunters.
Yeah.
And it was such a powerful message because it's true. Alpha males do in the, like a true alpha male will want an alpha female in a human being form as well. Like alpha, there, that jerk guy we're thinking of is actually the beta male, if that's a thing. Like
Yes.
he's the weaker man. The true alpha wants a strong partner because he's not threatened by her strength. He's attracted to that strength. And so it's so, I just think we can't hear this enough as women, that we reject that idea. Like it's embracing who you are, whether that's ultra feminine or maybe it's a little bit more masculine. I think we get a little caught up in that masculine, feminine. Like, am I enough of this, or am I don't want people to focus on which energy they're in. Just be who you are and figure that out.
Yep.
So I know we're running close on time. I wanted to ask you, what is it like to work with Coach Allie? And give me an idea if I sign up for your program, or what's available for people right now, and just kind of walk me through what that would look like and maybe who your ideal customer would be. If there are people who are like, okay, I need a little bit more of Coach Allie in my life, where can they find you, and what are your programs like, to give us a little bit of an idea?
Give you all the details.
Yes,
so
go.
people want to work with me, first and foremost, my Instagram is Ask Coach Allie. I know it's going to be in the show notes, as well as coach-allie.com. I work specifically with women who struggle with food guilt and negative body image. Women that have maybe been obsessive dieters or fitness fanatics in the past, and nothing has really ever worked, and they're sick and they're exhausted and they're just mentally drained from trying and thinking so damn much about it. And they want to finally feel healthy and confident in their skin and not worry anymore and just feel at peace. Those are the women that take my heart. So what my coaching looks like. So I offer both one-on-one as well as group coaching right now. One-on-one is directly with me, just like you and I are right now, where we meet and talk for about 45 minutes or an hour and go through, from start to finish, like, what are your goals? How do we take really little bite-sized chunks out of them so that you start to see the bigger changes? Because I'm a big advocate that small hinges swing big doors. You have to have, like that one.
I like that.
You have to do the small little things that layer on top of each other to create the big change. Big changes don't just come out of nowhere. And then my group coaching, it is like my baby. I am way too hands-on. Alpha alignment is where I take a very limited amount of women, I'm talking like 10 or less, into this container where we work together for 3 months to go through mindset, intuitive eating, and then body confidence. We all start out with a one-on-one with me, so they really get that hands-on connection. But the whole point of being in a group is challenging yourself, right? Nobody wants to come into this group and it's saying, yep, I'm going to be fully vulnerable and I'm going to trust everyone and it's going to be great. Every single one of my clients is scared to be in a group of women because we've been taught to fear other women. And that's why I built it this way, because they not only get support from me, but they get support from other women that have been through the same experience, and they get to really grow together, which is, I think, the best part, is just the community. So those are my two offers right now. I will have some exciting stuff coming up around Black Friday, but kind of TBD on that.
Yeah. Oh, this is awesome. I could talk to you forever, Allie. This has been so fun. Thank you so much for taking the time, and especially off of your crazy week of being the newest celebrity fitness instructor for HotWorks. I'm so excited for you. And it's going to be so fun to know the person on the screen.
Yes. I know. We'll have to actually do a session together.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that. That would be so fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So, try out HotWorks, see if it's something that you enjoy. And if it's not, that's okay. Just keep trying to find what you enjoy. That's the biggest thing. Like you said, it's 90% of the battle is just getting there, or deciding, okay, I'm going to try this, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect way to end. So thank you so much, Allie. I had so much fun. And yes, let's do a workout. I would love it.
I would love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Come back anytime. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballlove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.